What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Driven to Review. Today we're going to be reviewing Lund Racing's E85R tune on my Mustang GT. Just going to briefly talk about what it does to your car, what you need to do to your car in order to get to be able to run just pure E85. So let's just get right into it. So I received the E85R tune through Lund Racing on their new LRX tuner, which I did a whole review on. Go check that out. And yeah, so I haven't ran it yet. I haven't loaded it. So I'm going to show you guys how to flash it, what to do to your car after you fill up, all that stuff. I'm going to talk about that on the way over to the gas station near me. If you're going to do this, make sure you do always test your E85. Make sure it's right at E85. I know Lund says you want to be as close to E85 as possible, but you don't want to be below E75. For sure. So make sure you do test your E85 before you do it, because not all E85 is actually E85. Like there's one station near me that's right at E85 all the time. It's E84 to E85. But then there's one the other opposite direction that's right at E75. So you don't really want to do that. You want to get as close to E85 as possible. Yeah, so on the 23 GTs, I don't know what year it started. I believe it was 2018. Where all you have to do to run E85 in your car is tune it. I know there's a lot of people who say if you're going to do this a lot and race your car with E85, you're going to want to upgrade your fuel pump, because when you run E85, you're pushing a lot more fuel through the engine. So it puts wear on your fuel pump more, all that stuff. Your injectors are fine. Your whole car is ready to run E85 with the tune. It's all you need to do. My car's, again, I did a whole review on my car, so go check that out too. But all I'm doing on my car right now is I have the MagnaFlow Neo exhaust, and then I have the Canon high flow filter, which doesn't make a huge difference. But since I did do the custom tunes, they were able to kind of tune with that. Yeah, so I did, again, in the LRX tuner review, I kind of went over it, but with the custom tunes, they're going to send you the 91, 93 tune. You're going to data log that, send it back to them, and then they'll send you the E85 tune. Once you get the E85 tune, you're just going to want to do a wide open throttle, data log, and send it over to them. If that's what they tell you to do, that's what they told me to do. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about it. I think it's right with the E85R tune on your stock car. You're going to be seeing about 50 wheel horsepower gains, which is really impressive just because of the fact that all you have to do is flash the car and put the fuel in it, and you're getting 50 horsepower off that, which is nice. It's going to be fun. So again, with E85, I know a lot of guys are like, oh, it's cheaper. Like, it's cheaper, it's awesome. It's good for the environment. It's good for the environment, 100%, because it's a cleaner burning fuel. Even though it is cheaper, I don't think it matters, because your gas mileage is going to go so much down that I think it kind of offsets the cost of it. We're going to be, once I drive around, I'm going to get an actual like miles per gallon average for you guys too. I think I saw a lot of guys were running about 11 to 12 miles per gallon on there, just driving around and cruising around. So we're going to check that out for sure. But for sure, you are going to lose a lot of gas mileage because you're using a lot more fuel than you would be using on 93. So do keep that in mind. I think the cost thing is pretty much irrelevant in this whole conversation, but just kind of wanted to go over that real quick. I know before 3 years ago, Lund sent you a flex tune along with the E85R tune, just kind of to be like a transition tune. They stopped doing that about 3 years ago, so now they only give you the E85R tune. So what you're going to want to do is drive your car, and you're pretty much going to want to get it to about 1 miles to 0 miles empty, because once you're at 0 miles, you still have about 15 miles to go. So you're going to want to try and get your car to about 1 or like 2 maybe miles to the tank left before you fill up with the E85. Since I do know that my gas station that I'm going to be filling up at is right at E85, I know I have a little bit of lean room, especially for the first fill. So even if I have 5 miles to the tank and I put E85, it's not going to really affect it a whole lot. Yeah, so let's just dive right into it. Let's cruise over to the gas station. I think I still have about 30 miles in my tank, so I'm going to drive around a little bit before I do fill up, just to empty it out. And then, yeah, so I'll see you guys at the gas station. All right, guys, so a little while later, finally got the gas out of the car. Right now I'm about to fill up with the 85. I don't think there's really any reason to film that, but I have about 10 miles left in the tank, but I know this gas is right at E85, so I can manage to get a little bit of 93 still in there. So not ideal, but I'm just gonna do it anyway because I need to get this done. So yeah, let me fill it up and then I'll flash it, show you guys that, and then we'll drive off. Alright guys, so just filled up, so now we're flashing it just like normal. If you don't know how, check out my review on this tuner. I show you how to, and we're going to start flashing it. And yeah, we'll start it up and I'll show you guys kind of what to do after you start it up. Alright guys, so just filled up with the E85. Tune is done, just like normal. So we're going to start it up and keep our fingers crossed. So yeah, let's just do it, see what happens. So once you start it up, you're still going to want to let it sit for a minute and idle for about 3 to 4 minutes just to let all the 93 clear out and let the E85 get into the engine. And then after that, you're going to do some rev holds. So I'll show you guys all that. For now, I'm just going to let it idle for maybe 5 minutes. Just let it all get mixed up and let the E85 get into the engine. Yeah, so I'll hit you guys back in a minute. Alright guys, so I've been idling for about 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. So again, it's a very straightforward process. So we've been idling for a few minutes, so we're just going to go ahead and start to give them a couple of rev holds just to really cycle it out, try and be as least annoying as possible in this gas station. So I'm going to bring it up to about 1500 RPM and hold it for about 20 to 22 seconds, and then in quiet mode, and then I'll do it probably 1 or 2 more times, and then we'll just drive off from there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're right at 2000. Just gonna leave it for a few seconds. And again guys, the whole reason we're doing this is just to make sure we cycle through all of the E85, or cycle through all the 93 and replace it with the E85 before we drive off and start getting on it. Super straightforward. Another reason why I love the LRX tuner, because it just works. It's just awesome. So I'm gonna let it idle for a minute or so here. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna make sure you guys have a good view. Yes, okay. Yep, so again, really straightforward. So right here, as you can see, I reset my mileage just so we can get a good track on that. And yeah, so I'm just gonna give it a few more rev holds just to really make sure we cycle all that fuel out of there. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and give it another rev hold right at 2000, 2500 this time. Okay, that should be pretty good. So let's just drive off and let's start seeing how the tune works. I know it's gonna work great because it's Lund. Obviously, they've been doing this for a long time, but now, let's just give you guys a review. Let's just start driving. Feeling good so far. Couple things too about E85. It does burn colder, so you will save some heat. Oh no. So you will save some heat off of your engine, which is nice, which is also another reason you can get more power without having to do any really upgrades. Yeah, and it also makes your exhaust smell, when you have cats, it kind of makes it smell like a mixture of gas and vodka, I'd say. It's a little bit of a sweeter smell to it. It definitely doesn't smell like gas at all, especially if you're only running 1 pair of cats and you're catless on your X pipe like me. The smell is a little bit more prominent, but it doesn't smell bad. It smells kind of good, but I don't know. I think I'd say it kind of just smells neutral. Like, it doesn't really smell good, but it doesn't smell bad, if you will. So just to be a little extra safe, I'm just gonna like drive around to keep it chill for a few more minutes, just to really cycle in, give it a little bit of gas, nothing crazy. So yeah, so I know with the E85 you do gain torque. Like, I know that's one of the like pros, and right off the bat I'll tell you, torque, like the low end torque definitely has increased pretty significantly. Like right now, like from like 1500 to 3000 RPM, I definitely noticed an increase in power, which is always great. Put the exhaust back in track mode. man, this new barbecue place smells so good. I'm probably gonna pick it up for dinner here. But yeah, guys, so it's looking good so far. I have a couple, let's see. Yeah, fuel level 100%. I've not really, I just kind of threw some random stuff on there to make it look cool, but I haven't really gotten too much into the gauges in that. I know with, I could swear at least with the N gauge, I thought you were able to view the ethanol content, because I'm pretty sure these cars, at least as of 2018, had an ethanol sensor in them, but I couldn't seem to find it on here, so I'm going to definitely do some more research into that. I know I know with the Flex Commander kit, I'm pretty sure it gives you a sensor, because, well, what I remember hearing was they give you the sensor because the one that the car has isn't really accurate and it's not that great, so they give you one that you add in your fuel lines right there. But I'll definitely do some more research into that, because I thought it did have an ethanol sensor. I just didn't think it would, like, it's not just flex fuel capable. Yeah, guys, I mean, that torque in the low end, it's trying to get in. The torque in the low end is definitely improved a lot, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so far it's looking great. Just do a little bit more casual driving around before I do anything crazy. And then again, I know, so if you're doing the custom tunes, which I would always recommend you do, especially on these cars, always try and get a custom tune if you can. No matter your setup, doesn't matter, you can be bone stock, I'd still tell you to get a custom tune, because they can really dive in there and just make sure their tunes are running good and properly on your engine, even though I'm very confident that if I hadn't gotten the custom tunes, the normal tunes would have worked just fine. But it's nice to just have that extra reassurance, especially, you know, when you're daily driving a car. You don't want to be, you know, doing anything to it that, you know, you might be sacrificing life, or well, sacrificing more life than necessary off the car. So yeah, so far so good. Even if I do a pull, I'm not sure if it's going to work too well, because I am very bald on my rear tires. I mean, not dangerously bald, not dangerously bald, but just enough to not let me do a pull. So we'll see how that works out. But again, an extra 50 horsepower on these wheels, I don't think they're gonna like it too much. But definitely I'm excited to get my N555 G2s on there, that's for sure. Bigger rear tires always help. So I did just switch from the Ghost Cam tune, and for, you know, obviously, you know, Ghost Cam tune is great, but you do get a little bit of jerking just in the like when you're coming to a stop or accelerating. So it's a little bit nice to feel to have the normal acceleration of braking back. But I am gonna try and get a Ghost Cam tune for E85 just for poops and giggles. But yeah, guys, I mean, that right there, I know, like, you're supposed to gain like 10 horsepower compared to the 91 pump tune, but I think really your biggest advantage to doing this is going to be your like torque and your mid-range power, because right off the bat, that is the most noticeable thing. I'd say the throttle response and the engine response is definitely a little bit more responsive than the 91 pump tune, but really just solely because of the low end torque increase, I'd say. So I would say the throttle response and engine response is very similar to the Lund 91 tune. But yeah, again, I mean, having that low end torque increase right there, I mean, that makes a world of a difference in your driving experience. So yeah, I think it cost me, what was it? I think the total was like just under $40 for 12 gallons. Does that work out? It was $289 times like 13 gallons pretty much. So whatever that is. So not too bad, but again, the cost offset. I mean, what you're gaining power, but you're losing your gas mileage. So the gas is cheaper, but you're burning more gas. So I don't really think it really works out to your advantage in cost. if you want to tell yourself that, go for it, because, you know, it's fun, but I wouldn't look at it as being like a money saver whatsoever. I would never tell anybody like, oh, switch to flex fuel because you'll save money. Like, I would never tell anybody that. I know in my Civic, when I did flex fuel, my mileage didn't really actually decrease that much. It was my little Civic Sport hatchback. It's a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. It was pretty fun. I did like high flow headers, flex fuel muffler delete, cold air intake down the wheel well, so done properly. And I think I only lost, I think I was averaging, because I was doing a lot of street driving, I think I was averaging like 24 miles per gallon or 23 miles per gallon. And when I switched to E85, I think it really only dropped to like 21. So, I mean, a little bit, but I mean, not anything bad at all, I would say. Get more power out of it, burns cleaner, burns cooler, so there's definitely a lot of pros to it. But especially out here in Southern California, E85 is a little bit scarcer than you would think. Like, I know, like, LA and San Diego areas tend to have more stations, but around me, I only get, I mean, there's only really 2 stations that are practical for me to go to around my house, and one of them, the E85, is actually E75, so I'm not going to be going to that one. So it's a little inconvenient for me, but I know there's other states. Obviously, I know, I want to say Texas. I have a lot more flex fuel stations, so make sure you do look at that before you start considering to switch to this, because if you're doing it on a daily driver especially, it might not be the best idea for you if you even have it in your state, because I know there are states that don't give you flex fuel, especially the colder states. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So out here in Southern California, our weather is pretty bipolar. So like right now, it's like still winter time, but our lows got to like 28 degrees or something. So it got pretty cold here. So when you're in colder weather, your engine is gonna have a harder time starting up on E85. So keep that in mind too. Like if you're out in, you know, like New York or anywhere where it's just gets really cold around the winter time and you don't garage your car for it, just be prepared for that, because I've seen a lot of videos of people doing like cold starts on E85 and they have to hit the ignition button 4 or 5 times until it actually gets going. Not really a bad thing. I know it'll wear your starter down over time, but not by anything crazy. So I don't know, just that's my thought on that. It will be interesting to get, like, I think tomorrow morning I'll leave. I think it's supposed to be like 30 degrees, so it'll be interesting to see how the cold start's going to be then, which I know 30 degrees isn't really that cold, but around here it is, so definitely be cold for me at least. But yeah, so far so good. I'll try to make a U-turn up here, see if I can get a little pull going. Another thing that I noticed, so when I started flashing the car, for some reason, probably about every other time I flash it, I have to, my trans has to relearn. So I think it takes like 40 or 50 miles for your trans to actually relearn, because I've been getting some like really harsh shifting around 3 of my gears, 4 or 5, or 3, 4, and 5. But once it relearned, it went away. So just know that. I know these transmissions are super problematic. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go here. Are very problematic. So just know that when you're like going to, you know, tune it, if you start to have problems with your transmission right after, I wouldn't take it to Ford right off the bat. I'll say that right now. I just wouldn't do it unless you're like really good friends with someone there. I would not just take your car to Ford because of transmission like harshness, which I know is a known problem on these cars. The first thing I would do is try and relearn it. So if you don't have a tuner, I think you just like unplug the battery for like 30 minutes and then plug it back in, and it should reset it. It'll reset my drive too, which is your which is the engine and like the throttle response learning. But again, if you're having problems with it, I would try and do that first and then drive on it gently for 40 or 50 miles to see if it corrects it. That's what I did. That's also what Ford told me. They were like, oh yeah, like there's nothing wrong with the transmission, it just needs to get relearned. So that's what I did. Let's see, get a little bit. Wow. Right off the bat, Whoa. That was part throttle. I was only maybe like 60% throttle, and that was pulling. So far so good. Man, I'll tell you, I've been in a few of these tuned Mustangs, and so far I think the Lund tunes have been my favorite, just as far as long-term reliability and the feel of the car. I think they just do an absolutely perfect job. Yeah, I mean, really not a whole lot to say. Just a couple more pulls so you guys can listen and look and learn. Wow, it's like a totally different car. Totally different car. I am really loving this so far. I will say it does sound a little different. It sounds a little like, what would I say, a little crisper, a little bit more crisp, which I really like. But man, guys, I mean, it's just so cool to me that you can take these GTs and you can just throw a tune on it and you're good to go. Like, throw a tune on it, fill it up with E85, and bam, you got 50 horsepower. I mean, especially if you start to get into, headers and air, intake manifolds, throttle bodies. I know if you're running an aftermarket throttle body, you're gonna want to replace your injectors and your fuel pump because they can't hold up. But on your stock car, I mean, this is awesome. This is great. Wow. Yeah, guys, I mean, really impressed by this so far. Here, let's throw it into Sport Plus mode, which again is my favorite mode. I think Sport Plus mode is the best with track exhaust. Wow, holy guys, woo. Wow, okay. Really, I mean, really woke up the car. I mean, night and day, like, wow, okay. I know 50 horsepower really doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, you can definitely tell. I mean, that's definitely not like a placebo thing. I mean, you can really tell the power increase in that. Okay. Yeah, okay, well, not really much else to say. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, please share it. I'm trying to build this channel here. I am gonna start dropping some merch at about probably about 1,000 followers, because I want to make some anyway. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I don't know what my next God, excuse me. I don't know what my next video is gonna be. It might be the E85 Ghost Cam tune. Hopefully that'd be cool. Or it might be, I think I might try and get some high flow cats on here. So if I do that, I'm gonna end up doing a video on that. But I think I'm gonna try and release some sort of just like nighttime drive ASMR videos, a few of them, just driving around and whatnot. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Maybe a couple shorts coming. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Peace.